Welcome to this lecture on technical reports and thesis writing. Imagine spending years in a laboratory, finally discovering something truly groundbreaking, but being completely unable to share it because your notes are a mess. Today, we will learn exactly how to transform your raw data into structured, impactful documents that the scientific community can actually use, understand, and build upon. To begin, let us understand why structure matters so much. Imagine you have just spent 2 years discovering a cure for a rare disease. You have all the successful test results on scattered pieces of paper. If you hand those messy papers to another scientist, they will have absolutely no idea what you did or how to replicate it. Structured writing acts as a beautifully organized, carefully guided tour of your brain. Without it, even the greatest scientific discoveries would be lost to misunderstanding. Now that we know why we need structured documents, let us look at the two main types you will encounter. A technical report is typically written for industry professionals, sponsors, or government bodies. It is designed to help them make practical, real-world decisions, like whether to invest millions into a new technology. A thesis, on the other hand, is an extensive document you submit to an academic committee. It is the ultimate proof that you have transitioned from a mere student to an independent researcher capable of contributing new knowledge to humanity. Understanding the audience for these documents brings us to how they are actually organized. Both technical reports and theses strictly follow standardized formats to ensure clarity. The most common is the IMRAD structure, which stands for Introduction, Methods, Results, and Discussion. This format requires precise language, an objective tone, and proper citations. By adhering to this universal standard, researchers ensure accountability, preserve knowledge for future generations, and allow society to build upon previous discoveries safely and efficiently. Let us visualize this IMRAD structure to see how the narrative flows. As you can see in this diagram, the structure resembles an hourglass. We start at the top with the introduction, which provides the broad context of your field. Then, the scope narrows significantly as we move into the methods and results, which focus entirely on your specific research and data. Finally, the structure widens out again in the discussion section, where you explain the broad implications of your specific findings to the wider world. While the IMRAD structure organizes our ideas, we must also ensure our writing is actually accessible. Writing a thesis is a qualitative task, but we can use quantitative metrics to evaluate our clarity. One of the most important tools for this is the Gunning Fog Index. This index calculates the readability of your text by estimating the years of formal education a person needs to understand it on the first reading. Ideally, a good technical report should score between 8 and 12, meaning it can be understood by someone with a high school or early college education. This brings us to the mathematical formula behind the Gunning Fog Index. The formula is F equals 0.4 times the sum of W over S plus 100 times C over W. Here, F is the final index score. W represents the total number of words, S is the total number of sentences, and C is the number of complex words, which are words with 3 or more syllables. Physically, if W increases while S stays the same, your sentences are getting longer, driving the index up. Similarly, using more complex jargon increases C, which also raises the index and makes your report harder to read. Now that we have our formula, Let us apply it to a struggling student's draft abstract. We are given a paragraph with exactly 100 words, written in only 4 very long sentences, containing 25 complex words. First, we find the average sentence length by dividing 100 by 4, giving us 25 words per sentence. Next, we find the percentage of complex words, which is 100 times 25 over 100, equaling 25%. We add these two values to get 50 and multiply by our constant 0.4. The final answer is an index of 20. So, we have calculated an index of 20. But what does this actually mean for our student? An index of 20 is an extremely high score. It means a reader would need 20 years of formal education, which is equivalent to a postdoctoral level, just to easily understand this abstract. The high average of 25 words per sentence leads to reader fatigue, and the high percentage of complex words shows a heavy reliance on dense academic jargon. Because this falls far outside our target range of 8 to 12, the student must rewrite the text to make it simpler. Before we recalculate, let us look at the specific strategies the student uses to fix their draft. To lower the index, they must tackle the 2 main variables, sentence length and complex words. First, they break those 4 long sentences down into 10 shorter ones. This allows the reader to process individual thoughts much more easily, without losing track of the main point. Second, they replace unnecessary jargon with simpler terms, reducing the complex word count from 25 down to 10. Let us see how these changes affect the math. Let us apply the Gunning-Fogg formula to the newly revised abstract. Our total word count remains 100, but our sentences have increased to 10, and our complex words have dropped to 10. Dividing 100 words by 10 sentences gives a much more readable average of 10 words per sentence. The complex word percentage also drops significantly to just 10%. Adding these together gives us 20. Multiplying 20 by 0.4 yields a new index of 8. This means the text can now be easily understood by someone with an 8th grade reading level, making it a highly readable technical report. We have covered a lot of ground today, so let us review the key takeaways. First, remember that technical reports and theses are the essential bridges between your raw lab research and human understanding. Second, strict structural organization, like the IMRAD format, is non-negotiable if you want your work to be clear and reproducible. Finally, always use metrics like the Gunning-Fogg index to objectively measure and improve your readability. By mastering both structure and clarity, you ensure that your hard-earned scientific discoveries are actually read, understood, and utilized by the wider world.